Hey guys, today we are going to read Look at Lucy, and it's a dog. It's a dog book, especially a dog book. And we are reading dog series, but this is not a series. It's it's just a book, not a series. It's by Lena Cooper, I think. And I got a new iPad, an iPad Air. And guess what, guys? Roblox it I got hacked and it kicked me out of my login, and now I don't know my password and stuff, and now it's bad. But I got a new game. It's called Brawl Stars. And so guys, let's get started. School Blues, Chapter 1. Bobby Quinn sat on the front steps of his house. He watched one tired leaf float down from the big oak tree in the yard. "Uh-oh," said Bobby. "Falling leaves? Okay, one leaf, but many more were sure to follow." Bobby knew that meant school would start soon. School. Bobby didn't want to think about school. And for just that moment, he didn't have to. A bark came from behind the screen door. It was Lucy. Lucy was a brown and white beagle with black spots and eyes the color of chocolate kisses. Bobby's parents had given Lucy to him for his 8th birthday earlier in the summer. She was absolutely the best dog ever. Absolutely was Bobby's favorite word. Ow! Ow! Lucy's bark turned into a howl. A howl meant she wanted out of the house, and she wanted out right now. "Okay, girl," Bobby said with a smile. "You come and sit with me." But Lucy wasn't the kind of dog who liked to sit. She was the kind of dog who liked to run and jump. She liked to run so much that a few weeks ago she had run away. Bobby and his friend Sean had to chase her all around their town for a few anxious moments. Bobby had been afraid he might not see Lucy again. Just the thought of it that day gave him a stomach ache. Since then, Bobby hadn't taken any chances. He hurried to shut the gate before he let Lucy out of the house. When Lucy was free, she leapt down from the steps into the yard, yipping and yapping. She stood next to the frisbee that Bobby had dropped in the grass the day before. Lucy looked at Bobby with her big brown eyes. "Pick it up! Throw it!" That was what her bark seemed to say. Bobby didn't have to ask twice. He hurled the red frisbee, and Lucy went on the chase. Bobby threw, Lucy chased. Every time Lucy brought back the frisbee, she pranced around waiting for the next toss. School might be starting soon, but it was still summer, and it was hot. Bobby wondered where Lucy got all her energy. He wiped the sweat off his forehead. "Hi, Bobby," a voice called. Bobby looked up and saw his friend, Sean, at the gate. Sean had moved in across the street over the summer, and Lucy had brought the two shy boys together. Bobby wasn't as shy as he used to be, but when he thought about school, he got very nervous. He didn't really have any friends in his class. He had always been too shy to talk to the other kids. Would things be any better this year? "Hey, Sean, come in," Bobby said. Sean opened the gate and carefully closed it behind him. Chasing Lucy all over town was still very clear in his mind, too. He didn't want to go through that again. Lucy ran over to Sean and sniffed his hand. She dashed back to the frisbee. Lucy ran over to Sean and sniffed his hand. She dashed back to the frisbee. She looked first at Bob, then at Sean. "Well, let's play," she seemed to say. Instead, Bobby said, "It's too hot, Lucy." He turned to Sean. "Let's go inside and have some lemonade." "Okay, I have something to tell you." As Bobby and Sean headed for the door, Lucy started barking again. She wasn't going to give up playtime that easily. Sometimes Bobby gave in to Lucy's wishes, but not today. He opened the door wide. "Come in, Lucy. What could a dog do?" She dashed past the boys and led the way into the house. Bobby went right into the refrigerator and opened it. The cold air hit him. It felt great. He grabbed the lemonade pitcher and brought it to the table. Then he took a couple of glasses off the counter and poured the lemonade. "So what's up, Sean?" he asked. Sean took a glass. "My parents said I could get a pet, a dog." Bobby knew Sean had wanted a dog for a long time. Sean shook his head. "No," they said. "I should start with something small." "A hamster, a turtle, a bird?" Bobby asked. Sean shrugged. "I don't know. I haven't decided yet." Mrs. Quinn came into the kitchen. "Bobby," she said, "we need to go to the mall and pick up some things for school. And I need to shop at Petorama and buy some food for Lucy's school." There was the word again. Then he had a thought. "Can Sean come with us, Mom? He's looking for a pet." Bobby informed his mother. "He doesn't know what kind yet. A trip to Petorama will give him some ideas." "Okay, we're leaving in a few minutes. I'll call your mother, Sean, and make sure it's fine for you to come with us," Bobby's mother said. Sean nodded like Bobby. He didn't find it easy to speak up. Bobby looked at Sean. Is Sean worried about school starting too? Bobby wondered. It was hard to be the new kid, but in a way, Bobby wished he could be the new kid. He would like a fresh start. He was sure that in kindergarten he was so shy. He used to cry. His nickname was Cry Bobby. "Sean," Bobby began. "What?" "School is starting soon." I know, Sean answered quickly. "How could I forget?" From the look on Sean's face, Bobby had his answer. Sean wasn't any happier about school than he was. Chapter 2, Petorama. Pencils, notebooks, crayons. Bobby and his mother filled up a shopping cart with school supplies. Sean's mother had said he should buy some things too. So Sean added his items to the cart. "Mom, when we find out if Sean and I are in the same classroom?" Bobby asked. "We should hear in a few days," Mrs. Quinn said as she pushed the cart down the crowded aisles. "I sure hope we're in the same room." Bobby told Sean. "Me too," Sean answered. "At least you know some kids at school. I don't know anybody." "You know Candy," Mrs. Quinn reminded Sean. She's in our school district. Now she might be in your class. Candy was a new friend Bobby had made in dog obedience class. Lucy wasn't a very good student, but Candy's dog, Butch, was terrible. He sat when he was told to stand. He sat when he was asked to fetch. Sometimes in the middle of class, he just lay down and closed his eyes. It would be great if Candy ends up in our classroom, Bobby said. She talks so much. We wouldn't have to talk at all. The boys grinned at each other. They both liked Candy, but sometimes it was hard to get a word in edgewise. Sean and Candy in his room. Bobby wondered what it would be like to have two friends in class. Then his smile faded. What if they wanted Bobby to introduce them to the other kids? But Bobby barely knew the boys and girls who had been with him in kindergarten, first grade, and second grade. Most of the kids ignored him. Bobby started to feel funny. Maybe it wouldn't be so great to have Sean and Candy as classmates. He didn't want them to know that how unpopular he was. Bobby, you haven't heard a word I've said, his mother told him. Bobby shrugged. It was true. He hadn't. I want to do a little clothes shopping, his mother repeated. Bobby groaned. We'll get to the pet store soon, Miss Quinn said. She was already pushing her cart toward the kids' clothing section. Bobby sighed. The best thing to do was to make clothes shopping go as fast as possible. Bobby picked out a blue shirt and a sweatshirt with a football helmet on it. His mother put the clothes in the cart. All right, would you like to try on some jeans? Bobby and Sean looked at each other. That could take forever. Mrs. Quinn gave up. I can see you're not in the mood to try on jeans right now. Right now, Bobby thought, I'll never be in the mood for that. Let's check out, Miss Quinn said. Then we'll go to the pet store. Finally, Bobby whispered to Sean. Sean just nodded. But they weren't out of the store yet. There was a long checkout line, and it was moving slowly. Mom, Bobby pleaded. All right, Mrs. Quinn said. Petorama is right next door. Go to the pet section and meet me there. Stick together. We will. Bobby and Sean couldn't get out of the store fast enough. Petorama was a big, brightly lit store. One half of it was packed with pet supplies. It had everything from dog food to kitty litter to mealworms. Ew. Once, Bobby had picked up a container of the bugs and asked his dad what they were for. I think lizards eat them, his father had said. Lizards? Bobby was glad he didn't have a lizard for a pet. The other side of the store was much more interesting. That was where the animals were kept. Let's go over there, Bobby said to Sean. He pointed in the direction of several large bird cages. Bobby had never really spent much time on the pet side of Petorama. As they walked up and down the aisles, he was surprised by how many choices there were. Do you want a bird? Bobby asked. They stopped in front of several large glass cases full of birds. There were parakeets in different shades of blue and green. Small songbirds chirped away. In a corner cage, standing proudly on his perch, was a big colorful parrot. I wouldn't know which one to pick, Sean said. The boys were drawn to a glass-walled room with some cages on tall shelves. Inside the cages, several cats roamed. One black cat batted a toy mouse back and forth. A fluffy white cat nibbled on some dry food, and two kittens tussled with each other in a corner of one of the cages. Can you have a cat? Bobby asked. Sean shook his head. My sister is allergic to cat hair, he explained. Too bad. If Bobby didn't have Lucy, he might like to own a cat. My mom said I should look at small pets, Sean said. So the boys checked out hamsters, guinea pigs, and turtles. Sean seemed a little dazed. So many choices, he murmured. He almost seemed relieved when Mrs. Quinn came up to the boys. Have you made a decision? She asked Sean. Well, think about it. Mrs. Quinn looked at her watch. Let's go buy Lucy's food and get home. On the way out of a large, colorful poster, taller than the boys, caught Bobby's eye. The poster had a drawing of different kinds of animals crowded together in front of a television camera. Across the top were the words "Wanted," spokespet for Petorama. Under the picture of the animals, it said, "Is your pet cute, smart, funny? Enter the Petorama spokespet contest, and your pet could be on TV." Bobby read the poster carefully. Cute, smart, funny, that described Lucy. She could win the spokespet contest easy. Wanted, spokespet for Petorama. Chapter 3, Spokespet. Big news. Bobby heard all kinds of big news on Friday. First, a letter came in the mail. In the corner of the envelope, it said, Wildwood Elementary. Does it say what room I'm going to be in? Bobby said with excitement. Let's see. Miss Quinn sat down at the kitchen table and opened the letter. Bobby sat next to her. Lucy joined them. She stretched up, putting her front paws on Bobby's knees. Her head strained toward the table. She wanted to hear the big news. You're in Mrs. Lee's room, Bobby's mother told him. Yeah, Bobby said. Sean had gotten his letter yesterday. He was in Mrs. Lee's room too. Woof! Lucy barked. Woof! Then she scooted off. Bobby laughed. Lucy must know that Mrs. Lee is the teacher I wanted. I've heard she's very good, Mrs. Quinn said. She read the rest of the letter. I see there are a few more supplies to pick up. We'll have to go back to the mall. We can do a little more clothes shopping. Bobby groaned. He thought he was done with shopping. What was next? New underwear? Are you kidding me? Then Bobby had a thought. There was a good reason to go to Petorama and get an entry form for the contest. When can we go? Bobby asked. Mrs. Quinn looked at Bobby with surprise. How about right now? She asked. First I have to call Sean, Bobby said. Sean wasn't home, so he left a message. I'm in Mrs. Lee's room too. At the mall, Bobby suffered through trying on new shoes, but he came home with the prize, the entry from the Petorama contest. The next big news came from Sean. That afternoon, he came over to Bobby's house with a big smile on his face and something behind his back. Did you get my message? Bobby asked. Yep. He and Bobby high-fived. And I got something else too, said Sean. He pulled a small wire cage behind his back. At first, Bobby didn't see anything in the cage. He looked more closely. Huddled under a pile of shredded newspaper was a small furry body and a long tail. A mouse? Bobby asked. Yep, said a pleased Sean. A mouse. Bobby was surprised that they had looked at lots of animals at Petorama, but no mice. Sean laughed. I know. I didn't think I was going to get a mouse either. But when I went back to Petorama, I saw a glass cage with a couple of mice in it. I knocked on it, and this guy came right to me. It was like he was saying, "Take me home." So I did. He's white, Bobby said. He thought mice were brown. Yep, a white mouse with a pink nose and a pink tail and tiny paws, Bobby said. What's his name? Twitch. Because of the way he twitches his whiskers, Sean replied. Bobby put his finger up to the wire cage. Sure enough, the little white-brown twitched his long whiskers before giving Bobby a sniff. Last autumn, several mice had made a home under the kitchen sink. One day, Mrs. Quinn opened the door and 4 brown mice came running out. Bobby's mother had let out a shriek that could complete with one of Lucy's howls. She wouldn't go back in the kitchen until Bobby's father swore he had caught them all in a shoebox. Mr. Quinn had let them go into an empty lot down the street. Twitch is kind of cute, Bobby admitted. Mice are great, Sean told him. Think of all the great mice in history. There's Mickey Mouse, Mighty Mouse, and Mouse, and the motorcycle. Bobby was catching some of Sean's excitement. Maybe we could buy Twitch a toy motorcycle or build him a house, mouse house, Sean said. Bobby was glad he had a dog for a pet, but playing with a mouse might be fun too. Just then, the last bit of news came in with a bang. Candy came bursting in the door. Her dog Butch was right on her heels. Hey, did you hear? I'm in Mrs. Lee's room too, she said. Bobby was about to say, cool, but Candy plowed on. At first, I was mad when my mom told us we were moving, even though it was just a couple of blocks away, 'cause I had to change schools and go to the Wildwood. I was pretty sure I wouldn't like Wildwood, no friends, but now I know you guys, and you're my friends, right? And it turns out I'm going to be in your room, which is good. Mrs. Lee is nice, right? Right, Sean said quickly before Candy could get started again. Lucy bounded up from the basement, where she had followed a ball that had bounced down the stairs. She didn't notice Twitch, but when she saw Butch, she gave a sharp bark. Butch barked right back at Lucy, offered up a howl. Sean put Twitch's cage on the patio table. Candy stuck her face close to the cage. Huh? A mouse? Huh? His name is Twitch, Sean told her. Twitch, that's cute. 'Cause of the whiskers, I bet, Candy said. I'm not much for rodents. Mice are rodents. You know, so are rats and hamsters and guinea pigs. Yeah, they are, Bobby agreed. We hoped Candy didn't know any more rodents and gerbils. Gerbils are rodents too. Maybe chinchillas. I'm not sure, Candy told the boys. Well, I've never been a big fan of rodents, but Twitch might change my mind. White's a nice color for a mouse, and that little pink nose. Sean interrupted. Candy, Twitch is so fine. I'm going to enter him in the contest. What contest? Candy asked. It's a contest they're having. A petorama, Sean asked. The spokes pet contest, Bobby asked. Candy looked confused. A spokes pet? Is that even a word? What's a spoke pet? Bobby laughed. It was a funny word. A funny idea, too. He guessed. Well, you've heard of a spokesperson, he asked. Yeah, Candy answered. Like when a company has a movie star or somebody famous to do their commercials, right? Bobby said. Well, Petorama doesn't want a person in their commercials. They want a pet. Newsflash. Pets can't talk, Candy said. Bobby pulled the contest entry form from his pocket. The winning pet from this store will move on the regional contest, he read. The winner of this contest will be featured in print and television ads. Bobby looked up. See, the winner doesn't have to talk. She just has to look good for the cameras. Sean pulled an entry form from his own pocket. I picked this up. Then I bought Twitch. I guess Lucy and Twitch will both be in the contest. What about Butch? Candy asked. I'll enter him in the contest too. Butch would make a good spokes pet. Out in the yard, Lucy was trying to get Butch to play, but Butch was on his back, staring up at the sky. He gave himself a hard scratch. Then he rolled over, closed his eyes, and went to sleep. Bobby figured there'd be lots of pets in the contest. Lucy would have plenty of competition, but he didn't think he had to worry much about Butch. Chapter 4, Mrs. Lee's Room. So guys, we are going to end this right here, and bye!